Almost 1.5 years since the resignation of Polycarp Igathe as Nairobi County Deputy Governor, and that position is yet to be filled. During that period, there have been alignments and realignments in Governor Sonko's cabinet. Some of his ministers have had unceremonious exit. Most recently, Janet Ouko, who resigned citing frustrations from the county governor, who in turn claimed integrity issues against her. Some have accused Governor Sonko of running a one-man show and hence the difficulty to work with anyone as his deputy. Guyo says the assembly has no power to coerce Sonko to appoint a replacement for Igathe, that unless the bill before the Senate is enacted to guide the process, Nairobi may not have a deputy governor for a long time. Early this month, Sonko reinstated 2 county executives, Veska Kangogo devolution and her environment counterpart Hitan Majevda. It's not clear why the governor reinstated the 2 who had been accused of insubordination and incompetence. However, Majority Leader Abdi Guyo says it is the prerogative of the governor to put them back in office.
Some of the observable decisions, maneuvers and moves that have been witnessed in Nairobi County, the governor directly engaging head-on are things that his executives should be doing, not the governor.
Currently, Governor Sonko runs a 10-member cabinet: Mohamed Dagana under Health, Veska Kangogo Environment, Winnie Gathagu Finance, Alan Igambe Trade, Newton Munene ICT, Lucia Molwa Education, Larry Wambogo Water and Agriculture, Charles Kerich Housing, Lands and Urban Planning, Pauline Kahiga Devolution and also Acting County Secretary, and Hitan Majevda under Roads and Transport. Dr. Stella Bosire, who had been nominated to head the health docket, turned down the position. These are Sonia Birde, who had been nominated for the Environment County Executive post, was rejected by MCAs for being unqualified. MCAs had also turned the heat on Speaker Beatrice Elachi and impeached her for gross misconduct. Next week, Friday, the court will issue its ruling. However, MCAs say a ruling favoring Elachi will be inconsequential. They would ensure she does not resume her position. Chemutai Goen, Citizen TV.
All right, that's Nairobi for you. Back in studio with Honorable Gladys Wanga, Honorable Gladys Shelley, and Honorable...
that other clip was not supposed to be there. I don't think we have anything to do with government. We are very independent as an assembly.
No, it was a story about the intrigues that are happening in Nairobi, and we ran it on Saturday.
Oh, and the CECs.
Yes.
And the CECs. Oh, being rejected. They are not qualified. I saw that.
Right, so just reflecting as we end up on this topic. So we see that 2 CECs who had been suspended by the governor are now back in an explained situation. I know he has the powers to do that, but is the other county assemblies able to check the executive as had been perceived in the constitution?
No. No. You know, what has happened with county assemblies, you know, and the county assemblies have become, I don't know what, because of the power play and because members of the county assembly have no way of pushing development in their own right as MCAs, they have to rely on the county executive to give them, you know, they have to beg literally to give them, you know, and this is what something that members of the National Assembly came out of during the
CDF.
During the, you know, when we brought in CDF. Members of National Assembly can go and, you know, deal with education issues, security issues on their own, you know, without necessarily, you know, begging, and so you can actually check the executive. But in county, the power play between county assemblies and the executive is such that MCAs have to continuously be in favor of the executive for them to have anything to take back home. And that is why they are unable in any of our counties to effectively check the executive.
So, Honorable Shelley and Lachi, you may contribute on this. So, why are we wasting time? Because 7 years down the line, the county assemblies are yet to effectively manage their mandate, the county executives as well, the governments themselves. What is the solution out of all this?
Again, here I would just be appealing to Senate to do their work. Senate should be pushing legislation and regulations to be able to deal with the emerging challenges in the counties. If it's about appointments and so on, they are able to do it. It's just that what has happened is we've seen the challenge, but we've not developed the legislation. Right. What should usually happen is every time we have a situation, it should be an opportunity for us to develop legislation. And I will explain one example. Senate, as we've said, wants to be on the trodden path. Instead of them trying to go on the untrodden path, which is become innovative and create, because remember, it's new. It should be creating things for themselves to do. And I'll give an example. I'm chairperson of Committee on Delegated Legislation in Parliament. And you find that Senate wants to do the same job as the Committee on Delegated Legislation on the National Assembly. Yet at the National Assembly, we are dealing with delegated legislation at a national level by the ministers and national institutions. What the Senate should be doing is oversighting delegated legislation from the CECs to the county assembly. But they want to come to the national one. Yet, my God, they have so much work to do in that area, because some of the delegated legislation by the CECs in the counties are creating a big mess, because you may find that there's regulations by Nandi County, which is next to Uasin County and then next to Elgeyo Marakwet. If you do not make sure that they are harmonized, and because Senate is at an oversight level, they are able to look at all of them and ensure that they help them work towards harmonizing those regulations so that it can become easier for the counties to operate.
So how do you achieve
Senate has a lot of work if they focused on their work instead of trying to replicate what the National Assembly is doing.
So if indeed they are failing, who will tell them?
I believe they see what is happening, but also the Speaker. Speaker has been governor now, I think has more experience in understanding how county governments work. I believe he has the powers to bring in new breath of, for example, telling them, look, when I was a governor, these are the challenges I faced. And I would wish as Senate, we look at this. And as she says, it's true. You find that the laws are not harmonized. Let us just start with the standing orders. Now, let me give you an example of Nairobi standing orders. That we have an institution that can change standing orders in 2 hours and use those standing orders, and the Senate cannot raise a question, but they will come in and say, oh, maybe Elachi was a bit arrogant. Maybe, I mean, it's
or call KQ.
Or call KQ. Instead of asking yourself, we've just understood, is it true this institution changed the standing orders?
In 2 hours later.
In 2 hours, not even 2 hours. In 30 minutes, they decided these are the standing orders. Based on how we feel is best, we can use them. And then go back and look at all the standing orders of the 47 counties. Are they harmonized? Because this is one institution. All those counties are the same. And it is only the Senate that can tell them, these are the right standing orders that can be used across all the county assemblies. Then look at all these issues that have been raised of allegations of corruption. They have never come even to question, even to call me and say, let us understand, what is this that happened in Nairobi? Yet you are the institution saying you are oversighting counties, but you have no idea what happened in Homa Bay, what happened in Nairobi, what happened in other counties. When we go back and tell them, look, we have issues with the county government, the county boards, and these are some of the challenges that we have already faced. This is a law we passed, yes, when I was in Senate, but already, having tested it, I feel we still need to amend and bring it out better for it to serve the purpose. You have nobody to face.
So you feel that the Senate is not doing their job. So, Honorable Wanga, do you expect a lot to come out from tomorrow's grilling?
Well, I don't know what's going to come up, but I hope that they use this opportunity and you know, to get to understand what the issues are for Sonko and why he has not appointed the deputy governor or a fully fledged cabinet. I mean, okay, now I've seen that he has the cabinet, but why he hasn't appointed? I hope they get to understand what the challenges are, and I hope that after understanding what the challenges are, they contextualize those challenges to be able to develop legislation that can assist not only Nairobi but all our other counties. So I think the Senate has to really rethink its role. And the whole of last week, Senate and MCAs and these guys, they were all in Kisumu for the legislative summit, and they have this legislative summit every year. But what is the use of these meetings if we cannot from there have MCAs saying these are our challenges, and have senators picking up these challenges and going to develop legislation to be able to help? What are the groundbreaking legislations that Senate has developed from when it was conceived in 2013, or when it first started in 2013? What is it that they have developed that has changed the operations of of county governments and counties. And if there is none, then we have to really just come to the table and say, what are we doing? And our chance is, if we have a referendum, let's look at all these things that are affecting us and see what we can change to be able to make devolution work. Because devolution, as I said, is the best thing that happened to Kenyans. Because you can be a Kenyan, you can be anywhere, and you can still get your services. But if we don't tighten the loopholes that Kenyans keep crying about, devolution will soon be something that Kenyans say, we'd rather not, you know, have. Because, and we don't need us to go there. We need to correct what is ailing us. We need to remove this burden of many CCs doing nothing. And you know, CCs,
you don't need to.
You know,
you don't need
so
to.
on.
In fact, Nairobi, we just need to say after.
What is the Minister for Agriculture
If indeed we go to a referendum
in Nairobi,
we have to just ensure it comes back as a capital city. It is run the way other capitals are run. Paris, Washington. Make it let the national government give services to Nairobians, because this is where all the tribes contribute.
Okay.
Yes, and this is where you collect your highest GDP, and therefore it has to work better for it to get GDP to share with other counties.
With the rest of the country.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Let's take a look at some of the tweets that you've been sending to us at Citizen TV Kenya, if we have them. And the first one is from Gakio Jimmy, saying that constitutional laws in Kenya can only be made or amended to suit the political class, not to serve Wanjiku. We lack leadership in all levels of government. Don't blame the Senate, blame the leadership.
All right, let's take a look at another tweet.
Leadership, right?
Right.
Yes.
This is
Charlie, being Charlie, you said devolution in itself is a good strategy. Devolved graft is the devil in the detail.
Well, those are the views from our viewers, but obviously it's a conversation that needs to be moved ahead so that we see solutions to the challenges that devolution is facing 7 years down the line now.